Hello everybody, my name is Patricia. I'm a first-generation Beatles fan. Today's video is going to be initiating a Beatles vinyl tag for 2025. Now about this time last year, I did participate in the vinyl tag that Rachel at Rachel's Ghost put up, and that kind of put me into the YouTube space unsuspectingly. But anyway, she commented that she thought it might be fun if I tried to do this year's tag, and so here I am. So we're going to get started now with the first question. Now the first question is this. All four Beatles have put out a holiday song. Show us your favorite holiday song and tell us why you enjoy that holiday song. So it could be George's Ding Dong, it could be Happy Christmas, War is Over, Wonderful Christmas Time, or something from Ringo and his I Want to Be Santa album. So to me, I decided to call this my favorite, Wonderful Christmas Time. It's on the Columbia label, and the backside is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reggae. Now, of course, seeing it in person recently has kind of helped things along, but actually I do like my Christmas music to be more festive rather than being, more somber and hymn-like. So that's why I chose Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney. Now, of course, Happy Christmas, War is Over is up there too, but as I say, if I had to choose between the two, I gravitate more to Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time. All right. Question number 2. Show your favorite Beatles album cover. Now, this was a little difficult because I see that there's so many iconic photos and artwork on a lot of these albums, and it's really tough in a way to choose. But after thinking about it, I thought I was going to go with the most simple one. And so I'm sticking with the White Album. That's on the Apple label. Now, the reason I chose a White Album was because after thinking about it, even though there's a lot of great artwork on most of the other Beatle albums, this was something that was brand new, in terms of them putting out a completely white album with no pictures on it at all, having the Beatles embossed in it where you could barely see it, and then trying to number them so the fans would get a certain number that was personal to them. So because of all of those ideas that were well before their time, whoever in the Beatles camp decided to do this, I don't know. I'm thinking that that's pretty much up there too, even though it doesn't have a photograph on it. So that's my pick for my favorite Beatles album cover. All right. Question number 3. Show your favorite Beatles colored vinyl or picture disc. So for this, I chose a picture disc. And I chose the Sgt. Pepper picture disc. Made in Germany. To me, it was very well done. I do like the white vinyl Hard Day's Night that came out this year because Hard Day's Night is my favorite album, and that's pretty much up there too, but I decided to show you a favorite picture disc. Okay, so the next question is, show your favorite 45 picture sleeve, Beatles 45 picture sleeve. And that can be from any country. A lot of people do collect things from a lot of different countries. I don't, so I'm sticking with pretty much the American stuff. So I chose the Help 45. And the reason I chose this is because I think it's pretty colorful. I do like the photo, and it really stands out as far as the photo in the background with the Caribbean Ocean and all. So, and then that's on the swirl label. Okay, so the next question is, From the last three Beatles songs, which are Free as a Bird, Real Love, and Now and Then, show your favorite of the three, and then rank all three as 1, 2, and 3. Now I had some thought about this too, because I really do like Now and then of course seeing Paul McCartney play it recently was a real, thrill. But after thinking about it, I decided I was going to go with Real Love. Now the reason I decided on this instead of Now and Then or the other is because I have a better idea of what George Harrison was involved with on this record, whereas, the Now and Then, I don't really know for sure how much involvement musically he had in it. So that's why I'm picking Real Love. And so that's my first choice is Real Love, and my second choice is Now and then the third choice is Free as a Bird for me. Okay. Let's see. Show your most unusual Beatles vinyl or compact disc. Now, I just got this recently. I'll take it out of the sleeve. I bought a copy of the White Album. It's pretty beat up, but it has a very low number on it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. It's a top loader stereo, and it's 3,400 and something as far as the number goes. And it's on the Parlophone label, and it's actually from South Africa. Now, I remember that Andrew from Parlogram Auctions did a couple of shows about the White Album and the numbering and all that stuff. And he did say that if you got an album maybe from another country, you might have a better chance of getting a low number. So I guess he's right. So because I got this, and it's from South Africa, it's like 3,400 and... sorry. 3,824. 3,824. I'm totally wrong. So that's pretty low, 3,824. So that's the reason I bought this record. Other than that, it's not my favorite record anyway, but anyway, and I now have a low number, so I'm pretty happy about that. All right, so now the next question is, show a single that has a better B-side than the A-side. I'm going to go with I Want to Hold Your Hand and I Saw Her Standing There. To me, I Saw Her Standing There, which is a B-side, is way better than I Want to Hold Your Hand. It's more upbeat, it rocks more, and I think it's more popular overall anyway, but that's my answer to a Beatles 45 that has a better B-side than an A-side. Okay, so now the next question is, show a favorite Beatles song that was covered by another artist. So I have this little box set here. It's a Big Country box set. They were a Scottish band. Well, they still exist in some form. In the early 80s and into the 90s, they were pretty popular. And they were along the lines of like a U2. And in this box set, they do a live version of Eleanor Rigby. And it's pretty sped up, and it's got a lot of Celtic overtones to it. And because I really like this band a lot, this is and I really like Eleanor Rigby, is one of my favorite songs. This is the cover that I'm going to show you that was by another band. Now after that, we want to show a favorite Beatles song that was a song that the Beatles covered that from another band. So I'm going to show you no, it's the Beatles' second album. So the Beatles' second album, John Lennon singing "You Really Got a Hold on Me," and it's side 1, track 3. So that's my favorite cover that the Beatles have done. And of course the song is by Smokey Robinson, The Miracles. And John really covered it well, I think. Okay, so the next question is, show the worst 3 songs that the Beatles wrote. All right, so the first song to me is Meet the Beatles or With the Beatles. The song Little Child is not one of my favorite songs. And then on the White Album, George Harrison's Piggies in here is the second one. Now the third one is Hello Goodbye is the third one that I think is not a great song. I think the lyrics are dumb. The music's not bad, but I feel like I could write a better song than that. So those are my 3 songs that I think are the worst songs that the Beatles have done. All right, moving on. Show the last Beatles product that you bought, either vinyl, CD, memorabilia, or book, or whatever. So the last thing I got in the mail is volume 2 of the McCartney Legacy. I have it in plastic already till I read it. And I got this from the Fest for Beatles Fans, which I do buy a lot of stuff from them because they have signed books usually. And actually, Alan Kozin and Adrian Sinclair, they did sign book plates for this. So that's why I picked it up from the Fest. Okay, the next question is, show an ongoing Beatles collection that you're trying to complete. Well, I've got about a half a dozen of them, but I'll show you this one. So I decided that I wanted to get 1 copy of each of the Beatles songs, not the other artists that are on the Apple label, but each of the Beatles songs that are on the Apple label. So it started, of course, with the ones that they did in 1968, 69, 70. And then after that, in the spring of 1971 until 1975, they actually put out on the Apple label the entire collection of Beatle 45s from start to finish. So that's why I'm in the midst of trying to collect 1 of each. Now I use this book, which is a Bruce Spicer on Apple book, a great book. And it talks about all the singles and the reissues and all that, among other things. And so I got a lot of information from that. So I know I still need most of the reissued ones. I've got the original ones that came out when the Apple label came out. Like, so this one is like Hey Jude and Revolution. And there's a couple, I got a few that are the same. And then I've got Get Back. And on the back side is Don't Let Me Down. I've got the Ballad of John and Yoko with a kind of a beat up picture sleeve. And then I've got quite a few of those actually. And then I have Something and Come Together. So there's the Come Together. And then this is Something. Now the one I don't have that came out originally before they reissued the rest of them was the Let It Be Long and Winding Road and For You Blue. I've got a picture sleeve, but I don't have a record, so I still have to get that record. Now, as far as the rest of the songs I'm trying to get, they're the reissued ones, you know, everything from I Want to Hold Your Hand all the way through to the end. So right now I've got A Hard Day's Night, which I should have known better on there. I've got 2 copies of that actually. Then I have If I Fell and I Love Her. And then the last one I have is Lady Madonna and the Inner Light. So I've got about one of the original ones I have to get, The Long and Winding Road, and then I've got maybe 15 or so of the reissue ones I have to get. Now, if you look in Bruce Beiser's book, there's different variations of these 45 and the way, you know, the apple label looks or the color of the apple and all that. But I'm just after getting one copy of each of the Beatles songs on the apple label as far as 45s go. So that's one of my current collections. All right, so moving on. Show a prized possession in your collection. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be vinyl or memorabilia or CD or whatever you have, and then just tell us a little story about it. So today I'm going to show you this. I hope I can show it well enough. This is a Linda McCartney signed lithograph. It's called Teacups at EMI. And it's numbered with her signature somewhere on there. Now the story with this for me was, I actually had a chance to have the same lithograph probably about 25 or 30 years ago when I went to the Chicago Fest for Beatles fans. There was one for sale for maybe like $400 or something. It was way back when. And I did want it, and then I passed it up. And you know how you have buyer's remorse sometimes? Well, that was a big buyer's remorse issue for me. So ever since then, I swore I had to have one. So finally, probably about 10 years ago, Julian's Auctions had several of her lithographs for sale, and this was one of them. So I was bound and determined I was going to get this for my collection because I really liked the idea of her doing a photograph inside the EMI canteen with the little teacups or coffee cups all lined up, you know, together and whatever. I thought it was an interesting photo, and I liked the EMI connection to it. So I bid on it, and I was willing to bid as much as I had to bid. And actually, there were a couple other ones that went with this. And so I wound up getting a group of maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them for like $600. So that was really good. But I had to wait like probably close to 15, 20 years to come across this again. And now they're really hard to get. They rarely come up for sale. So that's one of my prized possessions. Okay. Show us your favorite Beatles or solo product that came out in 2024. Well, I'm going to have to say it's the U.S. album monos, all of them. I did buy them all. I didn't buy the box set, at least not yet. But I did buy them all. And the reason I think this is the best product, at least for me, is because I'm so happy to have something that's brand new, a copy of stuff I have that I know without anybody having played it. So I'm very happy to have these, and I think this was a significant merchandising thing that they did for at least American fans. So that's my favorite product of the Beatles, what they put out for 2024. Now the last question is, tell us what Beatle product you would like to have coming in 2025. Well, to me, well, there's a few things, but I think I'm going to stay with the Let It Be theme. I would like to have the copy of the, revised Peter Jackson Let It Be movie, as well as, along with that, any outtakes that go with it, and a copy of the entire rooftop concert. So I think that would be my first wish for 2025, although there's many. But anyway, that's high up there, so I'm going to say that. So that's my Beatles tag for 2025. I hope you enjoy watching it, and I hope you participate. Happy New Year to everybody, and Beatles forever.